What's up, guys? Welcome back to my channel. It's me again, Sean, the gambler. We're out here trading some more. It's week number 9 of since we started Tom strategy. We're doing better than before, but we're still kind of like breaking even a bit. This actually should have been the week that I got out of my break even. Unfortunately, I fucked it up and I messed it up pretty bad. We had 3 trades this week. 1 loser and 2 scratches. But when I actually reviewed my plan, the 2 scratches should have both been winners. One was a big winner, and then the other one was a small winner. But it should have been 2 winners, 1 loser instead of 2 scratches and 1 loser. But again, I messed things up. Yeah. So what exactly happened? Basically, it was psychology. It was my mental game, and the importance of mental game cannot be stressed enough. This is something I've always struggled with, and I still continue to struggle with, and I'm really taking the effort now to try and focus myself and improve upon it. But it's really, really, really difficult to master, especially I don't know, I guess different things tend to affect different people, but it's the same issue over and over for me. It's never the same exact thing. It's always like a variation of the issue, right? So it never presents itself the exact same way, just like the markets never present themselves in the exact same way. It's always similar, but it's the same root issue, just presenting itself in multiple ways. I remember watching a video, Tom recommended we watch this video. It was basically a guy that trains traders at a prop firm, right? So this guy is like head of training at the prop firm, and they track all their stats of all the guys learning or whatever, and they have them start out on simulator. And they have the stats of these guys, and there's guys on there. I remember they showed a few examples in particular, but there's like a few guys that were consistently making money every single day, like day in, day out, consistently making money week in, week out on the simulator, right? So it looks good, everything's looking good. Then all of a sudden they put them on the live account, they switch them over, and the same guys trading the same markets that were making money day in, day out, all of a sudden can't even turn a profit. Like they're just consistently losing now, mostly losing days. Their winning days are very small, their losing days are large, and it's the same guys, same markets. So, I mean, there's really only one reason for that, and it is the psychology. And I do believe it's one of the hardest things to kind of master. And I'm still working on it myself, obviously. So what happened? Basically, I had a fear of kind of losing money. And it's almost like, it's kind of like irrational because the amount of money that I'm trading, I'm not like it's not like it's gonna hurt me or anything like that. I'm not trading bigger than my bankroll, but it's just, I don't know, when you get in a trade, all logic just completely goes out of the window. You know what I mean? I start cutting trades early against my rules, and that's exactly what happened. I got scared. I scratched those 2 trades because they didn't look good, right? And those 2 trades ended up becoming winners, and now I ended up with a small losing week instead of a nice winning week that would put me back into profit on the overall strategy. So you know, I was definitely thinking about it and kind of going over my journal and looking at my plans, and it's like when I look at my plans are really good. I'm starting to analyze the market very consistently. And my plans are getting a lot more consistent. So it's like, how do I have the right plans and I'm making no money? And it's just obviously like the psychology, like I said. So I was brainstorming solutions, and I came up with a couple solutions to how we're going to fix this. The first thing is I'm getting rid of MetaTrader off. That shit's got to get off my phone, because when I'm in a trade, I'll just keep constantly checking, like tick for tick. And, you know, I don't even need to make any changes unless, except for every hour, right? So when the bar closes every hour, that's when I need to possibly adjust my stops. But not, the minimum I need to check is every hour. So I shouldn't be on there every 5 minutes. And it's that intra candle volatility. You know what I mean? When it puts in that big candle against you, that's not going in your favor. It looks like a really big momentum candle, and that's where I'll get scared. But there's still 30 minutes to go until the candle closes. And a lot of times the market just finds the exact point where I just can't take it anymore. I'm just too scared, or I don't want to lose money. I was in profit. I don't want to give it all back, and I just like, fuck it. I'm just cut the trade here, and then that candle ends up reversing all the way back down. If I would have just waited for the hour to close, you would have seen it would have went up and went all the way back down to, back in my favor, looking good again. So the first thing I'm going to do is get rid of MetaTrader on my phone. I have another phone that I'm going to have like a parental restriction on that will basically block me from using MetaTrader except for every hour. So I'm going to make sure that phone, even if I have the phone, I physically cannot go on MetaTrader unless it's the top of the hour. So that's one. The other thing I'm going to do is make sure that I stay off my computer, because again, it's the same thing. When you have that intra-candle volatility and looking, it's just better for me to just not look. When I start looking, I start doubting myself. I start, these thoughts come into my head of doing bad things. And cutting trades early and going against my rules and all that sort of stuff. So I'm going to get rid of MetaTrader on my phone. I'm not going to look at the computer while I'm in a trade except for the top of the hour. I'm going to physically close down MetaTrader programs on my computer and just try to avoid the computer in general. So that way I can have the best shot of not getting in my own way. We'll see how this works for this week coming up. I've already started. I know we started the week. I don't want to give too much away, but we've already started this week, so we'll see what happens. But let me show you guys the trades, and I'll show you guys exactly where I messed up and how I messed them up. And so let's get into it. Okay, so the first trade I had was in the New Zealand dollar, and it was actually on that candle, this candle right here. I don't know if you guys can see that. It's like a little pin bar here. Basically what happened is price broke out and rounded back around right back to this level and put in this pin bar. Looking at it now, I actually don't like this trade nearly as much, just because there's like this kind of like inflection point, and it cleared this level, but I really should have waited for it to clear kind of this like last low pre-break. But anyway, so we got this pin bar, and I was expecting a move back to these highs up here. So when you go down to the hourly, this is our small loss we had. Basically price broke out, round returned back to this last level here. We got the pin bar. I entered here. Price pushed up, and then I bought a little bit more as price pushed up, and then once we got this confirmation candle here, I moved my stop up to here. So when price did eventually come back down, I got taken out here. So I didn't lose much. I entered here. I bought here, and I got stopped out here, but I did buy a little bit more. So I think my average price was like somewhere like around here. So I lost not a ton, but I did lose some there. I think I lost like 0.3 R or something like that. So that was my one loss. Now let's go to my screw ups. So the first one was in oil. And so the oil trade, I like this trade a lot because we had this breakout of this level here, right? Broke out, rounded back, put in this bar last week, right? A pin bar off the level, right? Then it took that low and put in an engulfing / pin bar here, right? And I was like, okay, I really like this to move up and take this high, this one here. And so what happened was I was like, okay, well, this level should be a good level to look for a break and retest the head of the hammer, right? Tom always talks about the head of the hammer. So when we go down, we had the breakout, right? And then this is where I got nervous. So price, so we had the breakout, it retested, but it didn't quite retest here, right? So then it shoots up like this, and then I was looking to buy the pullback to this level, and price comes down in, right, very aggressively. And at this point, I'm already doubting the trade because usually when I see these returns like this, I was like, ooh, that doesn't look good, right? So then it came into the level and it bounced right away. I wanted to see PA, but then once it started bouncing, I was like, okay, I just got to get in. So I ended up getting in like here, not the most efficient entry, but I ended up getting in around here. And then price started moving up, so I was thinking things were good. But my one concern is I know a lot of the times when I see these things, it tends to put in kind of like this head and shoulder type maneuver. So you'll see like that, and then you'll see the head there, and then you'll see the right shoulder kind of form around there, right? So I wasn't really too confident in it until like kind of cleared this area here, this specifically this low and this high. But yeah, so once what happened was I saw it start to react roughly where I thought the right shoulder would be, and it looked to be putting in kind of like this head and shoulders type thing. And I was like, oh man, this really sucks. I was already nervous when it was coming in. It didn't look good, and yada yada yada. So what ended up happening is it came down. As it was coming down, it broke back down through this kind of like area there, and I ended up just scratching the trade here because I got scared, right? Now, obviously, I said when I have the daily bias, I'm just gonna go ahead and hit the levels aggressively and just kind of hold on. My original stop was down here. It never would have gotten hit. Obviously, it just kept bouncing off the level that I had marked out, and eventually just zoomed to target. So that was pretty unfortunate. That would have been like a 4R winner or something like that, and I completely botched it. Yeah, that sucked. And then we have the dollar yen. Now the dollar yen was actually kind of a tricky one because so if we look at the dollar yen, we have this level here on the daily, right? Price rallied up, broke down, came back around, then stalled for 3 days, right? Stalled here, then put in this kind of indecision. Then this candle took the highs of those two candles, right? And created this kind of like little pin bar. Then we had the impulse move down. So my original plan was to get in on a retest of the head of the hammer there and look for it to take these lows. So what happened? How did I screw that one up? All right. So basically, the level I had, the last naked level, was this level here, right? But I was kind of watching this whole zone. Yeah, so this is the level that I had. But what ended up happening is it broke down, came back around, and hit this level instead, right here, right? Hit that level perfectly to the pip, right? And then put in this pin bar. And when I saw that, I was like, oh man, I just got to get involved here. So I ended up just once it formed that pin bar, I just sold it, and I put my stop above there to make sure, just in case it did want to retest that, I would still be safe. Then once it put in this kind of like impulse move down, I moved my stop down here, added more in, and was looking to take these lows. But what happened was you could see it came down, took the low, rallied back up, and this is what I'm talking about. This is exactly what I'm talking about. This at one point was like a really fat green candle, and you can see looking at it intra-hour, it would have been extremely scary, looking like it's just gonna rally up against my position. But at the close of the hour, look where it ended, right back down here. But anyway, so took the low, kind of SFP'd this low or whatever, false break of the low there, and it just kind of rallied back up. And it was rallying back up, and it was at this point where I was just like, ah, man, this doesn't really look good. But I just held on, and it was kind of sticking. And then right here, this candle like broke through this little level here, and I just moved my stop down there. But I just moved it way too quickly. I mean, it's this is like in the middle of chop. I mean, the stop above this candle, you're right in this little like resistance. You're getting stopped out right into this like support turn resistance area. And yeah, it's basically what happened. It just took me out there, and you can see that this high was never really violated until the end of the weekend, where I would have just closed the trade to avoid the weekend risk, and I would have been able to get a small winner out of that. And then, yeah, so didn't get anything out of that. Another scratch there. And as you can see, it did eventually follow exactly my plan, hit the level, stop would have been safe, and then boom, just dumped this week. So plans are good, just cannot capitalize. So hopefully this week we can capitalize on a lot more, capitalize on everything, and really just get something going here. Let's get some momentum here. So let me show you guys the equity curve real quick, just to show you where we're at, and yeah. But yeah, this is the curve here. Again, like I said, trade 13 is where we made those changes, maybe 3 weeks back or so. Nothing really of note. You can see the last three trades, which is this week. We just kind of went nowhere. We're just kind of breaking even, like I said. Hopefully, it's the consolidation just before the breakout. We'll see. I'm not too sure. Trade isn't, I mean, the curve isn't the world's sexiest curve, but we are working on it. Bit of a frustrating week, but hopefully we can rally and get things together this week. Like I said, my main goal is to really try and work on my mental game and continue to focus on improving that. So let's just see how we go this week. So yeah, this week was kind of a shit show. We're gonna do better. I mean, last week was kind of a shit show. We're gonna do better this week. We're gonna kill it. I know I'm gonna really work on my mental game. Try not to make those mental mistakes, and I think if I do that, I should start to really see some progress here. Where, like I said, we've been breaking even for like the past 3 weeks. I'm ready to get out of it. I'm ready to start making some money. So yeah, let's do it. Thanks for watching, guys. I hope you guys keep tuning in. Yeah, and I'll see you guys next week.